Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the MS Classic Cars Show. Today, I'm presenting an absolutely stunning 1987 Lamborghini Countach 5000 Quattrovalvole with only 7,250 original miles. It's time to take the poster off of your wall and make it reality. Come on inside. Okay, here we are presenting this amazing car. This is clearly one of the most spectacular cars that we've ever had in the MS Classic Cars collection. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, we only collect #1 and #2 condition vehicles. We're very proud to say we're the only classic car dealership in the country that services every vehicle that we sell. We document the work with an invoice, and then we go through these cars with the detailing process to the highest level. It's very evident in our presentations. So make sure to visit our website at msclassiccars.com for a full description with over 250 highly detailed photos. Today, prior to this video, we actually did our driving video of this car. I'm still super excited about that. Extremely excited to go over this whole vehicle in detail. Make sure to check out our other video. I'd like to say thank you to the Seekonk Speedway and Ed St. Germain for allowing us to go out there today with our team, make some laps around the track and everything else. He was actually part of helping with a drone and everything, so again, make sure to check that out. This video is non-rehearsed. There's a lot of information that I am going to forget. I am not an expert with the Lamborghini Countach. However, I have learned a great deal, and I would love to share all that information with you here today. So let's talk a little bit about my journey in finding a Lamborghini Countach. The first thing I will tell you is that these vehicles are extremely hard to find. As an example, over the last month or so, there's only been one vehicle listed on eBay. It still might be on there. I think it's priced at like $750,000. If you look at the photos of that car, kind of compare it to this car, I would also advise that you do the same thing with cars that have sold in the past. Go on, look at cars that sold 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Look for vehicles that are currently listed. I think you'll find that there's probably less than 10 that are even on the market for sale. They're that rare. And most of these cars, over time, whether they were driven hard when they were new, whether they weren't stored properly, et cetera, they've been through the gamut, they've been around the block, and I think it's very clear that when you see what we're presenting here today and you compare it to everything else out there, this is clearly one of the best examples. I actually found a few of these cars in the last year. I had them professionally inspected by Lamborghini dealers, by independent parties who knew these cars, and even cars that had miles that was in the 4-digit range did not pass the inspection, whether it was the body, whether it was the paint, whether it was the glass, the interior, mostly mechanics. It was just mechanical nightmares is what they were, because again, they were not taken care of. So you got to be extremely careful when you're buying one of these cars to make sure that you're getting one that is a great car and not one that's not, and put yourself in a bad position where you've got to open up your checkbook and spend countless thousands of dollars. So I found this particular vehicle here. It was everything I was looking for. It was actually a great color combination, the red with the tan. Again, it had low mileage. It had a Carfax report that was super clean. So I hired 2 gentlemen that are local from Massachusetts. They actually have experience with Lamborghinis. Matter of fact, father and son team. The father worked directly for Lamborghini and actually has a lot of experience with these cars, even back to when they were new. Sent them to go look at this car in New York, where I had found it for sale. They spent a half of a day with this vehicle. They called back the next day and they said, this is an absolutely unbelievable example. Not only is it a great looking car, not only is it super original, but it runs and drives spectacular. So once the vehicle was purchased, paperwork was all completed. I had it picked up by a company that was referred to me by the local Lamborghini dealership in Long Island, Quality Express Transportation. The gentleman did a great job putting it on a flatbed, brought it to the dealership, and then it went inside the dealership service department. There was a little bit of lapse in time because the Lamborghini dealer wanted to put their best mechanic. His name was Luigi, Italian gentleman who had many, many, many years of experience with Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Italian cars in general, and he really wanted to work on this car. So I waited patiently. They finally jumped on the service of it. When they called me for the actual review of the car, it was actually a phone call followed up by an email. And what I've done is I've actually included that email into this binder here, which has got a lot of information about the car in it. And it clearly shows what they said about this vehicle. You can go ahead and read it yourself. I had an open checkbook for whatever needed to be done. I did everything that was on their list. And again, they were extremely impressed by the quality of this car. When I spoke to Luigi on the phone, I had said to him, give me your opinion of the car. He said, Mark, it's one of the best I've ever seen, and it is one of the best running and driving cars I've ever been behind the wheel of. And it just was really the icing on the cake to getting this great car completed and back to the dealership. So both the inspectors who went and looked at the vehicle that had experience, the Lamborghini dealership, obviously they've got more experience than anybody, all had nothing but great things to say about it. So I want to make that very clear. So in this binder here, it truly documents what was done to this vehicle. I've seen Lamborghinis advertised for sale where the actual sellers mention to the buyers that they need to get the oil changed. Well, not the case with MS Classic cars. You will clearly see the invoice at Lamborghini Long Island, everything that was done to the car. Again, this was stuff that I had done in preparation. We're just talking about maintenance things, et cetera, et cetera. I invested $7,281.85 into this vehicle. And again, everything is clearly documented. One of the things that they did was they took off the original Pirelli P7 tires off this vehicle, which we have. They're in our photo gallery. What we did is we saved those tires, we cleaned them. When we got them back, we actually date coated the tires, and the front tires were actually from 1986, and the rear tires were from 1988. Those were the tires that were clearly on the car its entire life. The only idea that we have between the 87 production date and the fact that the rear tires were 1988 is maybe there was some sort of a flat tire blowout. Maybe it was a warranty issue back in the day, and obviously they were changed after the first year of ownership. But those 4 tires are still in beautiful condition. They are included with the vehicle. Why I'm on the subject of what's included, we have this book that I bought online. This is actually how I learned a lot about the Lamborghini Countach. This is a very, very detailed book. I am going to reference this a little bit throughout the presentation here. That's included. I also have the original owner's manual, which is included. We do not have the case nor the warranty cards and some other incidentals. We just have the original owner's manual. I also have this DVD of the Cannonball Run. If you're not familiar with this movie, this is where the Lamborghini Countach really was the star of the show. Definitely have to watch this. There's also a YouTube video that was recently released. If you tie in Lamborghini Countach, Cannonball Run, you'll see the famous black car in that movie. Again, my wife bought this for me. We watched it, and of course I'm going to include it with the vehicle. And last but not least, we have this 1/24 scale car. This is a Lamborghini Countach 5000 Quattrovalvole. These are actually pretty hard to find. I'm also going to include this as well. And of course, that beautiful poster that we have in the beginning of the video that I showed, I had that professionally framed. It was just finished actually today. I picked it up, and that is also going to be included with the car as well. So that is basically an overview of everything. Oh, before I forget, when we were detailing the car, we actually found this under the seat. I just thought we had to keep it. It was pretty cool. I think this is definitely something from the 80s. Why octane is so important. Again, this is really a cool piece. So all of that stuff is included. So let's start real quickly just by mentioning a few things here. I am going to read this off of my notes to make sure I'm as clear as day. The first thing that I've learned with this Lamborghini book here is there are many different opinions of how many models were built. I think they referenced about 8 or 9 different companies who have done research over the years. Even Wikipedia would be an example of one of them. And they have a little bit of different production numbers on the vehicles that were produced. So again, what I have to do is just kind of ballpark some of this. But let me just give you like a really quick idea of the Lamborghini Countach history. So the prototype Lamborghini Countach LP500 was unrevealed at the Geneva Motor Show in Switzerland on March 11th, 1971. The Lamborghini Countach was produced over a 7-year period from 1973 to 1990. There are some sources that say 72. Again, I'm just going to give the information I've got and kind of compiled everything together. Again, a total of 1,997 Lamborghini Countaches were produced, which included the following models, because this can be a little bit confusing. The LP400, the LP400S, the LP500S, the 5000 QV, which is Quattrovalvole, which is what this car is here today, and the 25th anniversary. A total, again, this number could be 610, could be 620. I've referenced the most reliable sources. They say 630 Lamborghini Countach 5000 QV models were produced. Again, only 630 were produced in the QV, Quattrovalvole. So this here is a very, very special car, not only because it's one of those 610, 620, 630, whatever it was produced. This vehicle was one of only 66 that had factory installed fuel injection. Again, I pulled that information off of Wikipedia. You can go on the internet, you can do your own research, but this is a very, very rare car. Now, following up quickly here on the Carfax report, I just want to show you the Carfax. Because MS Classic Cars is a Carfax dealer. You can see this in our photo gallery. I just pulled this report here. You can see where this vehicle first was reported on the Carfax September 13th, 1989. That was in Ontario, Canada. So what we're thinking is this car made its way into Canada the first year or two that it was produced. It was actually made in March of 1987, as the door tag indicates, and we think it was in Canada for at least a couple of years. Then what happened was, in 1989, it was imported to the U.S., October 23rd to be exact. It was actually reported with a new owner in Pompano Beach, Florida. It had 6,552 miles on the car. Then it shows that that person must have then retitled the car in Denver, North Carolina in December of 1989, just a short time later. And then, of course, it shows here that the bond was released for the U.S. highway safety specifications, etc. It wasn't until 2016 that this vehicle was reported purchased and offered by sale, which appears to be by a dealer. The car only had 7,220 miles. Today, looking at the odometer, because we did just go for our driving video today and so forth, it has 7,285 miles on it to be exact. So during the period of 1989 and 2016, we can say that only about 400 or 500 miles were put on this vehicle. It's obvious with the condition of everything and how beautiful it was that whoever stored it during that period stored it in a great facility, probably climate controlled, and they regularly did things to it. Now, it shows that during the period of 2016, a dealer took inventory of the car. It went to a place called Jeff Motor Cars where it was serviced. I called Jeff Motor Cars. They said all that was done to the car was a battery and oil change. That was all that was done. It looks like that dealer that had it in 16 sold it in 2017. It was reported with 7,235 miles. And then it looks like they sent it to the Lamborghini dealership. Again, it had 7,262 miles. And I called the dealership down in West Palm Beach, Florida. And they said they remembered the car. They said it was a beautiful car, super nice. And again, they said all we did to that car was a battery and an oil change. And then, of course, the vehicle was part of a collection. I'm thinking that the dealer, in some relation to the collection, I'm not really sure. I know that the gentleman who had it passed. His son actually didn't really know what to do with the car, and they actually consigned it with a Porsche dealership in New York. I bought it directly from the Porsche dealership. So again, all of that information is documented on the Carfax. This car has great history. It's extremely original. What I've done here, which can also be found in the photo gallery, is I did a full breakdown of the VIN number. So it shows that it was a Lamborghini, shows it was a Countach for the US market. It was obviously a coupe, 5.2 liter V12, active restraints. It shows that it was a 1987. It also was built, obviously, in Italy. Just gives you the Lamborghini manufacturer code and also the last 3 digits of the serial number. What I also have done with this vehicle is I've also put this in the photo gallery as well, is I went over every single part that had part numbers on the exterior to verify they were original parts. We're talking about the headlight covers. We're talking about the fog lights. We're talking about the mirrors, the marker lights, the rear tail lights. I just wanted to document as much information as I possibly could. I even wrote down all the numbers on the wheels so you could reference those. We had a car that we sold on Bring a Trailer. If you Google it, it was a green 1971 Datsun 240Z. And I learned a lot about that car because that was an original car that had low mileage, limited ownership history, and we had tons of people ask us tons of questions. So what I did in preparation for the sale of this vehicle was I was one step ahead of the ball game, and I went ahead and pulled numbers off of as many things as I could. Again, you can reference it all in our photo gallery. We also, again, had this vehicle completely serviced, completely detailed to the highest level to make sure that it's ready to go for the new owner. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get out of the vehicle. I'm going to do an exterior presentation. When we make our way over to the driver's side, I will open back up the door, go over some of the interior here. I'm going to do the same thing on the passenger side, same thing with the engine compartment, same thing with the trunk compartment, and we'll finish in the front of the vehicle and end the video. So let's go ahead and get that done now. Okay, so now it's time to do our presentation on the 87 Lamborghini Countach 5000 Quattrovalvole. Why don't you come a little closer here? And first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to show you some of the information that I have learned from this great book here. I've made yellow tabs just to reference it. There's a lot of people that don't truly understand what these cars are all about and the process in which they went through to be built. Earlier in the video, I had referenced that prototype car, and I just want to show you that's here in this book. And we've taken pictures of all of this and put it in our photo gallery, but that is the LP500 prototype that was unrevealed at the Geneva Motor Show, and they labeled it in Chapter 9 here, A Star is Born. But anyway, what I'm going to do is flip forward to this part, because this is very interesting, creating a Countach. A lot of people don't know that these vehicles didn't really go down an assembly line. They actually rolled around warehouses with these dollies. And then what they did is they went to different sections of the building, which they referred to as workstations. So as an example, the chassis arrives, hand beating the body panels. This is an aluminum alloy body vehicle. It goes into how each person had to craft all of these pieces in these cars. It went to the composite floor. This vehicle does have a fiberglass floor, which I'll touch base on in a minute. The CALA, that's referring to the side scoops for proper ventilation. It goes into the thermal insulation in the wings. This is workstation 5. The doors, the headlights, panel perfection. It goes into the windscreen, quality control, and again, the paint shop. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to reference this book here. These vehicles were painted by an individual in literally a room. It even goes into stating here that they had to soak the floors with water to keep the dust down. And then it shows here that they went through different types of paints, and then they were sanding, they were buffing and sanding. It even says here with very fine sandpaper, you know, blah, blah, blah. And again, it goes into, you know, waxing and polishing. So with that being said, it even gets into the drivetrain, the leather trim, it gets into engine. One person built each motor, installed them in the cars. Again, you can see them moving around here. And then, of course, they did a final test drive and so forth. So I just want to make sure that I made that very clear as I go around this vehicle. Not that I really need to, because I'm very confident based on the people who looked at the car during the inspection process, the Lamborghini dealership with their experience and what they said about the car. I'm referencing the paint. In my personal experience with over 700 vehicles that I have collected and sold over the years, which all can be referenced on my website at msclassiccars.com, I believe this vehicle has all of its original paint as well. And when I show you through this presentation some of the reasons why I believe that, you can make your own choice. But because there's going to be people out there who want me to do a paint meter presentation, I will. I'm also going to use this flashlight here to go over the entire vehicle to just point out any imperfections, be as transparent as possible. I'm also going to use this rag here. You might see me occasionally wiping it off if I see a piece of dust or something like that. So paint meters are normally very, very accurate. Depending on the year, the manufacturer, et cetera, they do fluctuate. When you go on the internet and you look at paint meter presentations on these cars, they are all over the board. Some forums say in the 20s, some say the 30s, some people say I've had paint meter readings in the 40s on vehicles that have original paint. Because these panels were painted off the car, it even says in that book that the panels were tried to be sprayed the same day, but all individually so the colors would match as well as it could be. But because there was so much body work here, it was done by single stage of single people, you are gonna get different readings throughout. So again, I'm gonna do it just because I know people are gonna ask, but I can go on record and say that we believe, and other people's opinions believe, that this car retains all of its original factory paint. So let's get right into the presentation. The first thing I'm going to say is that windshield. That windshield is crystal clear. That is the original windshield that this vehicle had. And most importantly, if you look at the windshield, you will see the inspection sticker, which is from 1998. Which again, that documents that obviously this vehicle was never on the road, which backs up the mileage. So besides the Carfax report, besides everybody's opinions and everything else, that 1998 inspection sticker does document when the car was last on the road. Again, there's a stamp here, as all the glass has, which you can see in our photo gallery, and the windshield is in beautiful condition. This windshield wiper here does function beautifully. I will show some of that in our driving video. Again, make sure to watch the driving video because I do go through a lot of the instrumentation and show that everything is in working order. So let's start here with the hood. I'm going to go ahead and use this paint meter here. It just shows it's a 15.0. Again, these numbers are going to jump all around. Nothing's going to be consistent, but I just want to do it to do it. Again, this is in absolutely beautiful condition. I'm going to take my flashlight here. We're going to go over this, and what I'm looking for with this flashlight is I'm not looking for little fish eyes here and there, which are trapped under the clear when the car was done, but I'm looking more for chips. I'm looking for scratches. I'm looking for paint lines or anything like that, and everything looks absolutely beautiful. Right here, there's a little tiny chip. You can see that. That was touched up, and that's going to be very common with a car that has its original paint. Now, getting down here, if you look at these moldings on these headlight covers, they are 100% original. They're in beautiful condition. There's your indications that it's a Lamborghini. You can read it right there. Tail light, I have all the numbers. I got all the codes written down. These headlights, which are under here, and these marker lights are all in beautiful condition and in working order. Making our way over to the driver's side. Again, it matches. Passenger side, all the gaskets look very intact, beautiful work. See no indications of anything whatsoever. If this car had been involved in some accident years ago, these would have been changed. They're very hard to find. Obviously, it's all original. Looking at the front bumper, the bumper's in also beautiful condition. If we get really low here, you'll see there's no real imperfections to speak of. We got a little chip here, but on most Countaches, the front end is destroyed. Scrapes, road rash, et cetera, et cetera. You can clearly see how beautiful all of this is. Coming over to the driver's side front fender here, again, it's in beautiful condition. There's no imperfections to speak of. You see down here, this gasket, that is 100% original. You can see the age in the gasket. There's little indications that you can look at with cars, just like this gasket that wraps around this molding here. Again, all of these marker lights, they match. They're all original and they match. All the numbers match across the whole car. Here's an original gasket as well. Again, if I use my paint meter here on this fender, it's showing a 22.5. Again, it's going to be a little different from panel to panel. Now, on the subject of these wheels, these are the correct wheels. They've got Lamborghini stamped in them, OZ stamped in them. I've got the part number here. If you reference the catalog, they all match exactly the way they should. Again, these are brand new Pirelli P7 tires. This is the new P7, not the originals, but they're brand spanking new. We had those done at the Lamborghini dealer. One thing I will make note of, we did not have the original valve stem caps, so we took a normal black cap, we painted it silver so it would blend in. I just want to make note that those are not original, but everything else here is. It's in beautiful shape. When I make my way over to the driver's side here of the door and the glass, the roof is in beautiful condition. There's nothing here regarding any chips or any scratches. The door's in great shape. There's a few little areas here that have been touched up. You can see as you go down this line, it's straight, and you see a little chip there and a little chip there. Again, all indications of originality. In the corner here, this is a very tough area. People have touched up a few times over the years, maybe when the door got adjusted or whatever the case might be. But if you look at these black moldings here, again, stamps in the glass, you'll see a lot of the E2, E3 stamp numbers. Same thing over here. This is original. This is original. It's all stamped from the factory. This window actually goes up and down very nicely. It does stop here, okay? These mirrors, I had taken the codes off the back of these mirrors. These are original. Looking again down the side of this car, you'll notice on a lot of Lamborghini Countaches, they have a lot of cracking in the body. I would say that 90% of them that I've seen have tons of cracks. This car really doesn't have much of any cracking, which is great. Again, it was stored with the best of care. Again, a lot of these doors don't open and close smoothly. Now that we're on the subject of the door, let's go ahead and open it. You see how nicely that opened? It opened beautifully. Again, you can't make this stuff up. I grab it right here, close it. Look how nice it shuts. Again, beautiful, okay? Now up on here, this is the ID plate. Look at how absolutely beautiful these are. Again, reflective of how beautiful the vehicle is. In the book, it actually shows how these were painted, these ducts, okay? And this is still all original. Okay, just absolutely stunning. Now, the first thing that we look at when we look at the interior here, okay, and again, we have 100 photos of this interior that you can see on our website. Look at the condition of this car. 1987, we're in year 2022, we're talking about 35 years old. Look at the condition of these rubber gaskets. They are beautiful. I see no tape lines, no nothing. Look at the seatbelt. Okay, look at the bolsters on these seats. These seats are so nice, they look like they're out of a box. Okay, and I'm not somebody who exaggerates when I sell vehicles. I'm very transparent. These look brand new. The bolster trim has zero wear, nor does the seat, almost as if somebody covered this. Look at the seatbelt. Look at this. Absolutely like new. Look at the area on the sill where people would get in and get out. Look how beautiful all this is. It's stunning. The dash is stunning. The fascia, the gauges, the steering wheel, the VIN numbers clear on the steering column, the console. We went ahead and took pictures of the underneath of the dash so you could see how beautiful even the underneath of the dash was. The door panels. Look at the courtesy light on the console. I mean, even that comes on and shuts off when you close the door like it's supposed to. I took the floor mats off the floors to show people how beautiful it was even underneath the floor mats. Can't really say enough about the interior. Again, we'll show you some of the interior on the passenger side. Now, making our way over to this rear quarter here. Again, these are flawless. I see no chips. I see no imperfections to speak of. All of this black vents here is beautiful. Again, stamped glass, okay? All things of originality. We get down to these unique air ducts, okay? They're all painted beautiful. And again, none of these were perfect regarding, you might get a little bit more black on one than the other, but again, it just shows the originality. Even the emblems in beautiful condition. Again, there's nothing to talk about here regarding any chips, any scratches, etc., etc. Now, one thing that happens with vehicles that have huge tires like this vehicle does, these are 345/35/15s. This is a massive tire. Again, these are brand new Pirelli P7s. Look at how beautiful this rim is. Again, all of the things that are supposed to be on here are OZ, Lamborghini. I matched up all the numbers to the catalog. But you will notice back here, there are some chips. And you'd expect that with an original car throwing up gravel and so forth when you're driving it. So again, stuff that I look for. You will also see with our undercarriage photos that it does have some chips back there as well, but not really visible from the outside. We had this out today at the Seekonk Speedway. We drove it. Actually, 4 different people drove this car. Everybody was extremely impressed with how it felt, how it runs, how it drives, how it handles. It's just an amazing car, quite honestly. The power antenna works. I demonstrated that in our driving video, so that works. Again, these vents are beautiful. I see no indication of any paint work. Original lenses. We have the original spoiler. And look, there is no cracking anywhere on this car to speak of. There's a few little ones that I'll show you as we make our way around it, but it is just absolutely stunning. The engine cover is beautiful. While we're on that subject, let me go ahead and pop that, and I'll just show you real quickly here. So you can actually see how nice this is. A little awkward from this angle, but you can clearly see how nice it opened. I'll shut this door here. Look at how beautiful this engine bay is. Again, I'm looking for things like gaskets. I'm looking at this Kevlar material, the undercoating that they sprayed from the factory. It has the original stickers. Those stickers over there were typically dirty if you look at most of them, which that one is. Again, absolutely beautiful condition, tons and tons of originality. You just got to really study this engine compartment. Again, we have over 50 photos. I took photos of every single thing I possibly could, even the corner above and beyond what Corey, our photographer, did, just to be as clear as we possibly could. But little indications like this little piece here, this little wear here shows some of its patina, but again, it's spectacular. I see no indications of any paintwork here, no tape lines, no nothing. It's in beautiful shape. So let's make our way. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I forgot to do a paint meter on the door. I'll do that while I'm over here. So we have a 12.5. So again, we got a 12, we got a 22, we got another 12. Some are going to be higher, some are going to be lower. We got a 20. Again, some people have seen paint meter readings as high as 40 with original paint. This one here, oh, it's not going to read some of the material, 22.0. Make our way over to the trunk lid here, 15.5. Again, consistent numbers, okay? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this here in the middle, show you how nice it closes. And what I'd like to do is open up the trunk so you can actually see that. Look at this. Again, absolutely beautiful. Again, you can see tons of photos on our website. Look at these gaskets. This is the kind of stuff I'm looking for. I'm looking for the mechanisms, the gaskets, looking for the carpet and how nice the carpet is. This is absolutely original carpet. Everything is done to a very, very high level. It's beautiful. What I did when I was doing my detailed photos is I actually took these panels down and kind of moved them over, and I snapped pictures behind there so you could see how beautiful it all is behind there as well. Again, make sure to check that out within our photo gallery. Make sure this is shut. Check out the rear. It is absolutely beautiful. Again, all of these marker lights, I've written down all the part numbers. They all match. Look at the condition of these bumpers in the back. No cracking, no splitting. They're beautiful in color. The Lamborghini emblems have no fading. Couple little tiny, tiny chips here or there. Nothing to speak of. Again, I'm trying very hard to find imperfections in this car, but it's so beautiful that it truly is amazing. Looking at this bumper over here, again, I see no indications of any paintwork. Again, original lenses, original gaskets. Again, trying to be as fussy as possible. I'll go ahead and put this paint meter on the top of the passenger quarter here, 29. So it looks like we're so far in the 10s to 20s. Again, look at these moldings, all original. Again, the correct wheel, it's in beautiful condition. A little bit of road rash up here on the outer lip, which is very normal, but absolutely in beautiful condition. Again, new tires, a few little chips in the back there as expected, down by where the tire. We got a little imperfection there in the corner, if you see that. Okay, right there. Again, not really that noticeable. 22. Look at this, just absolutely stunning. And again, I might be missing something in this video. I didn't really going over it with a magnifying glass, but just trying to be as transparent as possible. Again, all the glass has all the stamps in it. One here, one here, one here. Again, the roof is in beautiful condition. No imperfections to speak of. We'll go ahead and 25. Again, pretty consistent numbers here. We're just looking for somewhat of consistency. You'll see little bit of touch up that somebody did maybe over the years. Again, nothing crazy. Again, the original mirror, original glass stamp. The door's in beautiful condition. The vents are all in beautiful condition. The air ducts. I'll hit the door here. 14.5. Again, very consistent numbers. This here, this door, again, opens beautifully. Look at this interior. Just focus on the dash, the vents, the stitching. It said in the book that these interiors, they use the highest grade leather material. One person installed these interiors. I'm talking about all the upholstery. They spent roughly 150 hours doing this interior, as the book stated. But you can see the console. Again, look at the seats in this car, the bolsters. Look at this door sill area. Just look at the fit and finish here. It's absolutely amazing. When I get my flashlight in here, again, it's just spectacular. Beautiful. Look at this, all original gaskets in here. Just super, super nice. Again, this door closes very nicely. Making our way over to the front. I don't see any chips. Don't really see any scratches worth mentioning. Maybe the tiniest little crack right there, but barely noticeable. Again, the bottom here is beautiful. All the gaskets are super nice. The lenses are super nice. Absolutely stunning. I'll use the paint meter one more time. 27. Again, looking over here, we got a little bit of touch-up that somebody's done maybe over the years. I don't know for sure, just kind of guessing. But again, you'll see a little imperfection there. But again, this is a spectacular example. So what I'd like to do now is get inside the vehicle, go ahead and start it so you can listen to how beautiful it runs. We started this car today before our test drive. Again, we took it out to the Seekonk Speedway. Multiple people drove it. It ran beautiful. When you start it, the RPMs go up like they should. It hovers around 2,800, 3,000 RPMs. Then it settles down over a few minutes and it idles right around that 1,800 mark like it's supposed to. Again, it performs beautifully, it drives beautifully. Just make sure that you study the photos that we have. We have tons of photos of the exterior, tons of photos of the interior. We have the engine compartment. Oh, one last thing, stay right there before I forget. I just want to show you the front compartment as well. And then we'll conclude this presentation here, but that is the original OZ 18-inch wheel. Again, Lamborghini stamped. It's got the correct part numbers. It has the original Michelin tire, as they all did. Again, look at how neat this is. Look at how organized it is. Look at how original this is. It's amazing even how cold the air conditioning system blows in this car. The dealership couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it today when we took it out to the Speedway because it was about 75 degrees today. And Cordy and I, we were sitting in the car during our driving video demonstrating how everything in the interior works. We were shocked how nice the air conditioning actually works. But again, even these horns right here, these are the correct horns. As you'll see in many other photos of Countach's, again, there's a lot of originality here. One thing I will mention at this point, normally in this compartment, you would have a toolkit. At some point, who knows when it happened, the toolkit disappeared. Whether somebody took it or misplaced it, I don't know, but the car does not have a toolkit. You can buy those. Occasionally they show up on the internet for sale. They weren't individually unique to each vehicle, so you can just buy one like you could an owner's manual cover if you decide to do that as well. But I just want to make sure that everybody is fully aware there is no tool kit. So let's go ahead and get inside the vehicle to show you how beautiful it runs. I would also like to mention one other thing regarding the undercarriage. You will clearly see in all of our photos how beautiful the undercarriage of this vehicle is. I, again, urge you to get on the computer, find Countach's that have already sold, find ones that have been listed for sale or ones that are obviously on the market, auctions, etc. You will see that very little of these cars are presented with undercarriage photos. The reason why is because undercarriages look nasty. They just, plain and simple, they look nasty. This car looks spectacular. To be very clear, we did spend a lot of time cleaning with a steamer and wiping it down with all-purpose and microfiber rags. We did take the original fiberglass floor that is black from the factory. They faded up to natural to black. We did kind of freshen up that section of the undercarriage, but clearly you will see how beautiful the undercarriage is. It still has all of its original factory paint marks on the springs, on the suspension components, etc., etc. So make sure to check out the undercarriage of this vehicle. It is spectacular. Hello. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a quick video presentation of the undercarriage of our 87 Lamborghini Countach 5000 Quattrovalvole. So let's start. I'm going to use this flashlight here with the back of the car. As I've stated in my video, in our description, if you have spent any time at all looking at these cars on the internet, the ones that even have the undercarriage photos displayed, you will notice that a lot of this area back here is cracked. and chipped. There's tons of imperfections throughout, and I'm so impressed by the underneath of this car here. It is absolutely stunning. Of course, there are a few little imperfections that are back here, such as a couple chips. We intentionally did not want to touch these up just to show, but this is absolutely beautiful. The exhaust system is super solid. The shield here is beautiful. Again, all this aluminum trim back here is in super nice condition. Very important that you see the suspension here, and these springs have the original factory paint marks, both yellow and white on both sets, driver's side and passenger side, which I'll point out. You'll notice a lot of this is factory original. You can see paint marks up on these bolts here and so forth as well. It's just in beautiful condition. You can see some of the red coming through the factory undercoating. Again, super fresh. Looking over here at the passenger side, again, you'll see all these factory paint marks. Some of it's on here as well. It's starting to wear off. You'll see one right here, another one right here and here. Again, looking at some of the original paint underneath the undercoating. Again, cannot say enough about how beautiful this is. I would urge anybody to please get on the internet and look at the undercarriage of any Lamborghini Countach, and you will clearly see the difference between the ones that are nice and original like this car and the ones that are not. This fiberglass here is still left raw. Look how clean and neat it all is. At MS Classic Cars, we actually refreshened some of this. When we took it to the Lamborghini dealership, they had made a suggestion of maybe just doing that to preserve it. They were going to do it. We do that frequently here at the dealership, so we kind of matched it perfectly with the factory. Again, you'll see factory paint marks on these bolts here. Again, look how beautiful these floors are. Same thing when we go over to this side. You'll see the factory paint marks, this raw material in here. You'll even see way up top, I don't know if you can catch that, but you'll see on the bolt, there are some yellow paint marks. Again, this is super, super clean. Everything is straight. There's no damage from any floor jacks or any lifts or anything like that. Again, look how beautiful the transmission is. Look at this. It's in absolutely beautiful condition. All the bolts are nice and shiny here and here. Again, this is all dry. Floors are in beautiful shape. Look at this. Look at even in the corners here. Super nice. This fiberglass material, again, was undercoated when they did these cars. Again, look at like even the material here on these plugs. Everything is very nice and solid, pliable. Look at how clean all of this is. Making our way over to the front, brakes and suspension. You'll see again factory paint marks here on all these parts. Again, it's super, super clean, very, very, very original. Here's some more right here. Factory paint marks. Again, all this fiberglass is super clean. Again, you get the same factory paint marks over here as well. Brake ducts. Again, you can see on some of these bolts here. Here's another one, all factory marks. Again, calipers are super clean. We've got paint marks here. Again, it's just absolutely original and beautiful. And last but not least, one of the worst areas that I've seen when I look at every single Countach that has sold or ones that are being listed for sale here and there is this entire front end is extremely sloppy. Chips, scratches, gouges, etc. You can see how beautiful this is. There are a few little chips here and there, but nothing to speak about that's serious. All of these hooks, everything is just in super nice condition. So again, just wanted to make sure we covered all this. It really doesn't get much better than this car. Appreciate it. Once again, it drives beautiful, no rattles, no noises. Everything was working the way that it should. It's truly a special piece. So let's get inside the vehicle and take it from there. Okay, now I'm back inside the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and start it, let you listen how beautiful it runs. Before I do that, if you would like to follow MS Classic Cars a little bit closer, I would highly recommend signing up for our VIP email blast. We have thousands of people that subscribe to that newsletter. I think you'll find it very enjoying when you get those from us for spectacular vehicles like this that we list for sale. We are also on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it, we do it. YouTube, of course. Again, we would ask that you like us and follow us on there as well. MS Classic Cars might not be a large dealer, but we are definitely doing big things. Stay tuned for the next vehicle that we're going to be coming to you soon with. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start this baby, let you listen to how beautiful she runs. I am going to mention that, again, this is a 5.2 liter V12 engine. It's one of only 66 that had fuel injection from the factory. It puts out 420 horsepower. It's coupled to a 5-speed transmission that shifts beautiful. The clutch is super easy to operate. And for all the people out there that say somebody that's taller, bigger, doesn't fit in a Countach very well, I got news for them. I'm sitting in this vehicle right now. I'm 6 foot, 200 pounds. I have plenty of headroom, plenty of leg room. I'm super comfortable in here. I tell you, it's a myth. These cars actually have a lot more room than what people think they do. When we first start this vehicle, it starts every single time. It does go to high idle. That's the way it's designed. When it's warm, of course, it doesn't stay that high, and it comes right back down to 1800. Since we started this vehicle just a few minutes ago and pulled it inside, it's still a little bit cold. It probably will go to high idle, and then, of course, it will settle right in. And again, I'll give it some nice revs so you can hear how beautiful it sounds. So let's go ahead and turn her on. Fire right up. It runs absolutely beautiful. Picture yourself behind the wheel of this beautiful Countach. We appreciate you watching. Rock and roll.